recording again and share my screen. Okay, so what I was trying to explain is, now if we want to deploy this code to different environments, right, we have to export this code, and we have to export in a format, right, that runtime engine can understand and execute. So to do that, right click on the project, then click on the export, right? And then you need to select the mule, and then you need to click on this option which read as Anypoint Studio project to mule deployable archive. Okay, click on next, right? In this option, okay, you need to specify the path, okay, where you want to extract the file, right? So I want Anypoint Studio to place the jar file in this location, c/training, right? And then this is the name of the jar file that will be created for you. It will have .jar extension, although, right? And then you have these two options here: attach the project source and include the project module and dependency. We're going to discuss this at on the later, okay? Because this these two options has some significance, so I will touch it again later. Okay, click on the finish. Okay, so now I have my jar file ready, which can be deployed in Mule runtime engine. Okay, now this jar file contains your code. If you want to see, actually you can use any Java debugger, right? And if you open your jar file that is created for you, right, you can see that. Um, okay, so this is the jar file I just now created. If you use any debugger, right, then you can see what that jar file contains. Okay, so it has a folder called the repository, right? It has all the dependencies, right? Like in my project, my dependency is we use the dependency as HTTP connector, right? Because I'm using HTTP listener. And then there was a socket dependency. These two dependencies come with all Mule projects, right? But we can remove it if we are not using it, right? So all these dependencies are in the jar file that we created, right? Then these are some other dependency that Mule project requires, right? And so, and this is our code. This is this flow. Okay, and why it is like this? Because this is simple plain XML. So same thing you can see here as well if you click on the configuration XML tab. Okay, so if you want to look it in the graphical view, you click on message flow. If you want to look it or see the XML, you click on the configuration XML tab. Okay, and you don't need to write actually your code by dragging and dropping different components. If you are good with the XML and if you have good hands-on on the Mule, when you become the expert, right, you can directly write the your code in XML as well. Okay, so that is about this. So the point is, this is your code, okay, that Anypoint Studio has generated for you. Okay, and artifacts, and this is your Mule source, right? So one of the option when I was exporting is something related to the Mule source. Okay, we will discuss that later. So guys, this is the code or the export we have, which we are going to deploy. Okay, so let's deploy this. Okay, this is my Anypoint studio, sorry, Mule Anypoint platform, right? Okay, I'm going to discuss this sometime later. So, okay, click on the application, right? And then click on the deploy application. Okay, so here first it asks you to provide a name to your application. Okay, this application name has to be unique in entire Anypoint platform. Okay, so if I'm using, say, suppose a word, hello world, right? Then no one else in this word can use this can use this phrase or word, hello world, right? So only one application can be deployed on entire MuleSoft platform with this name, right? So the name that you give here, it has to be unique. So normally people follow convention to give their company name or something like that, right? So here I'm saying tech tutorial. Tech tutorial. Okay. And next, deployment target, where you want to deploy your application. Okay. So I want to deploy on the Cloudhub. Okay. So Cloudhub means this guy. Okay. I want to deploy my application in the runtime engine, which is maintained and managed by the MuleSoft and which is on the cloud. Okay, so this is that target. Okay, so why you are getting this target? Because we created a free account on the MuleSoft platform. So when we create a free account, MuleSoft give us two environments. Okay, one is the sandbox and other is design, right? This one, right? We will discuss on this but later, right? So right now, if we want to deploy any code, we have to deploy on the sandbox. For now, you just remember this. So sandbox has one Cloudhub instance where we can deploy our code. Okay, so that is where I'm going to deploy my code. Upload. Okay, then you need to click on the choose file and then upload file, right? And then you have to select the jar file that you just now created. Okay, and after that, if you see here, you have some more properties and the variables which you can configure. But for now, we are not going to touch anything. Let's remain everything default. Okay, but this has some significance that we will understand once we know a few other things, right? So you have here properties inside logging. You can configure, and if you have purchased the static IPs with the MuleSoft, then you can configure the static IP on this tab. All right. So just leave everything as it is with the default options and click on the deploy application. Right. Once we click on the deploy application, okay, my application starts the deploy. So what is happening? MuleSoft platform is uploading that jar file and deploying it in the Mule runtime engine. Okay, so it has deployed, it's deploying. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, so it's now trying to start the runtime engine. Okay, and you can see the logs here, right? And you need to make sure that when you deploy your application is deployed successfully. So at the end, you will see a message that your application is deployed or application is started successfully. So you need to see that before you conclude that your application is running. Okay, so here you can see different options to monitor or to manage your application or the server, right? So in the log you can see the log that your application is generating. I mean, you remember when I ran my application here, I was uh, I was checking my logs here in the on the console, right? So do you see these logs, right? Now because this runtime engine where we deployed, right, it is on the cloud, right? We do not have access to the console, so that those logs will appear here. Okay, so okay, so those logs we will see here. So right now, I mean, that runtime engine is starting. So these are the engine logs. Okay, you got it. And then you have a dashboard. You can do a lot of things here. You can see that how many requests your application is receiving. If there is any error, then other things as well, right? And then object store queues and schedule. If you have any schedule, you can manage that schedule from this tab. All right. Right, if we will see this how it works as well. And then settings, this is the same screen which we use for the deployment, right? So if you want to update or change any property which uh, we miss to update or set while deploying the application, then we can do that update or delete the property from this settings tab. Come to the log and let's see if the application is started. Okay, so your application is started. You can see here your application has started successfully, so it means my application is running. So this tells me that my application is running. Beside that, if you see here green dot, it also means that your application is running now. Okay, so you can see here as well, if you click on the applications. So this when you click on the application, it will show you all what we call all the applications that are deployed on that particular environment that is deployed on the sandbox. Okay, then it will give you that list, right? And if you want to find some information, just click on this. It will give you basic information about the application, right? That what is the runtime engine, what is the worker size, workers, and the region, in which region in the Cloudhub this application is deployed. So all those things you can see here. You can start, stop, and delete your application from this option here. Okay, now let's move on to the next step. So next step is, if you remember, when I ran my application, right, in my local instance, right, I use this URL to access it, right? So I used localhost and the port number was 8081. So why it is 8081? Because in my HTTP listener configuration, port is 8081, right? And why it is localhost? Because my application was running in my laptop locally. So I do not want my request to go out from my laptop. I want it to stay in the laptop. So I use the localhost, which is associated with the IP address 127.0.0.1. But now question is, now my application is running somewhere on the cloud, right? Somewhere on the cloud means somewhere in the cloud in a laptop kind of, right? Or in a system, right? So if this runtime engine is running my application, that is okay. But this runtime engine is installed some machine, right? Some server. Maybe that is a virtual machine, maybe VM, but still it has to, I should able to access this machine, right? Using some host or IP address, right? So that I send my request. Okay, so in the Cloud Hub, right, when you deploy your application, you get a URL, okay, and you can find that URL from here, okay. So Cloud Hub assigns a unique URL to every application that is deployed on the Cloud Hub, okay. So this is the URL that is assigned to my application. If I use this URL, right, and then the URI path, okay, from my browser, right, I will able to hit this system, okay. So let me show you what I'm saying. So now instead of the local host and this port number, I have to use that host, right. So somehow, right, um, your Cloud Hub, Mulesoft Cloud Hub has mapped this host name and the port number, local hosts and the port number with this host name, okay. So if I press enter, right, my browser will send a HTTP request to this application, right. We discussed this yesterday, if you remember, right. So let's press enter, okay. Same thing, I get the same response here, right. Let's see if we have something in the logs, okay. Here's my log. Do you see? This is what we mentioned in the log, right? Start hello world and hello world, right? It means my application is running. Let me send one more request. See, again. Okay, so what we achieved just now? We deployed our application. First of all, we created an application, right? And then we deployed our application on the runtime engine, which is running on the cloud, which is managed by the MuleSoft, right? And to deploy my application on this Cloud Hub instance, right, I use the control plane, right? And now my control plane is communicating with this runtime engine, right? That is why I'm able to see the logs here in on the control plane, and able to do other stuff. Okay, got it. So that is the point number one. Second point is, when we deployed our application has been given a unique host name, right? Unique host name, so that we reach to the server or a machine where my application is running, okay. And from where we get that unique host name. We click on the application, and then the app URI is the unique name given to my application by the MuleSoft to access my application, right? And this is really good thing, right? Even if you want, you can also try this URL and access my application, which I just not deployed, right? So this is really cool, right? So, and hello is still same, because hello is the URI or the path that I have assigned here to my application, okay. So I hope you understand that, right? So this is the main server where this runtime engine is running, and to reach out to, or to get to this machine, right, the host name that MuleSoft has assigned is this, okay. Got it. So we completed this part, okay. Now we are going to look at on-prem part, okay. Now, before we look into this, uh, let me know if you guys have any question. Okay, so yes, anyone?
Hey, this is Prem Kumar.
Yeah,
So I didn't attend yesterday's class, so today just I joined.
let me share my screen again and then we'll discuss the other part. Okay, now let's look at this part on-prem. Okay, what it is. So now what we are going to do is we are going to install a runtime engine, Mule runtime engine inside our company, in a server inside our company, or we call it on-prem, on premises, right? So in my case, I'm going to install a runtime engine in my laptop, right? So this is my laptop, and inside my laptop I will install a runtime engine, right? And then I configure it in such a way, right, so that it communicate with the control plane, right? And after that I will use the control plane to deploy applications on-prem, right? And then we'll see other details as well. Okay, so first thing what I need is I need the runtime engine, right? You can download the runtime engine, right, from any point platform, right? So simply go to Google and download it. Type download runtime. Okay, so and the version which you want to download. Okay, click on this, download and install, and then click on this, right? Okay, so here just click on agree and then click on the download, right? So it will download Mule runtime engine, right? So my internet speed is not very good, so I did this download before the session. Okay, so here is this is what you will get, right? So you will get a zip file like this. Okay, you need to unzip it. So once you unzip it, you will have a folder like this: Mule E distribution standalone 4.3.0. This is your runtime engine. Okay, go inside this runtime engine, you will have a bin folder. Okay, inside the bin folder you have everything what you need. Okay, so all the commands to start the Mule runtime engine, stop it, deploy it, undeploy it, and do all other things. So everything is inside this folder. Okay, but when you will try, right, before you do this, right, Mule runtime engine has a requirement. Okay, the requirement is, you can see here, it needs JDK, Open JDK 8. Okay, so you also have to download OpenJDK 8, and you also have to get the OpenJDK 8. Okay, and install it in your laptop. Okay, and after you install it, unzip and install it, right, what you need to do is you have to set the path. Okay, so JDK path, how you will do it? Go to my PC, right click, properties, and then advanced system setting, right, click on the environment variable, right? You need to set the Java home variable, right? And the Java home should contain your JDK, I mean where you have unzipped your JDK 1.8. Okay, so if I go here, right, I can show you. Okay, so this is where I downloaded a JDK 1.8, right? And then I unzipped it. Okay, after unzipping, I go to this directory. I mean, this is what we call the Java path, okay, or Java home. Okay, so copy this location, right, and set this variable. There it is. Yeah, like this, Java underscore home, and you do this. Okay, so this is the one thing you have to do to run the engine. Okay, so let's go here and type cmd command prompt, right? So now we are here in the bin directory of the mule runtime engine. Got it? Now to start the mule runtime engine, you need to just write the mule.batch. Okay. Yeah. So this is, I have my runtime engine in my laptop, and I'm trying to start it now, as you can see. So runtime engine is starting. There you go. Okay, that's it. Okay, so it started successfully. Okay, I'm going to close this because we need to do a few more things before we come to here. Okay, now I have, let's look at this diagram, what we have. Now I have a laptop. Inside the laptop, I have Mule runtime engine, okay, which I have downloaded and configured properly, which I'm able to start successfully, right? Next thing, what I need to do is I need to do something so that my control plane know that there is a runtime engine running. Okay, I need to create a bond between these two, or I need to connect runtime engine in my laptop with the control plane. Okay, how to do that? Okay, to do that, you need to go here in your runtime manager. Okay, click on the servers. Okay, and then click on the add server. Okay, just simple, click on the add server, type in name dev environment. Okay, it will give you a command. Okay, you need to copy this command, okay, and run it on your in your command prompt from the bin directory. Okay, just remember to remove this dot slash, because dot slash is a Unix syntax. It does not have any significance in the Windows. So I just remove that and I click on enter. Okay, once I press enter, what happens inside your runtime engine? This command automatically remove this server from the server list on the runtime engine UI and remove the okay. Okay, I know why it is happening. So what I will do is go here. Let's delete this. Doesn't matter. Okay. Extract all. Okay, 4.3. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Nothing different. Okay, so here I will run the same command that I copied from the control plane. Okay, runtime engine. Okay, here. Okay, when I run this command, what happens? Mule runtime. Okay, when I ran that command, okay, what happens in my laptop? Mule runtime engine starts a agent. Okay, that agent know where it need to communicate. Okay, it know the IP address and the host name of the control plane, the port number of the control plane. Okay, so it starts communicating with the that IP address and port number with the specific ID, unique ID for my account in the AnyPoint platform. Okay, here. So if you see, this was a command, right? So it has some unique numbers here, right? So these unique numbers uniquely identify my user account, my details in the AnyPoint platform. Now, after running this command, my agent has started in my laptop. Mule runtime agent has started. That has established the tunnel or connection with the runtime plane or control plane, which is runtime Mule runtime. Okay, if I come here and see now I can see a dev environment and status is right now created. Why created? Because Mule runtime engine is not running right now in my laptop. Okay, to run it, I will simply say new. Okay, guys, so we have problem again. This session is going to end in 1 minute. Okay, so I think this is